How you doing? My name is Alfonso Dixon, and I'm doing my lesson plan on American history, 11th grade level. The subject matter is Civil War and Reconstruction. Okay, start off with learning objective. With Common Core state standards, I'm using R8 6 through 8.1. It states site-specific textual evidence to support analysis of primary and secondary sources. Next, you'll see the objective. 1, 2, 4. The objective. My first objective is students will be able to distinguish the central and driving ideals at work in original documents surrounding Reconstruction and be able to discuss their impact on events. Next, students will be able to identify specific problems that may have emerged given the attitude and conditions prevalent in the defeat of the South. Next, students will be able to describe the general character of the social conditions within the nation in the aftermath of war. Next, the reason why I chose these objectives. I picked these objectives because they are next in line on the history timeline. These objectives are necessary in order to connect the previous lesson plan with future lessons. Basically, I chose that because just like watching a movie, you watch the first 30 minutes of it, but you skip the next 30 minutes, then watch the last 30 minutes. You gotta watch the whole movie, see the whole picture, so you understand what caused what and what led to what. Next, part number 2, dealing with how I group my students. The lesson will start with whole group instruction. Afterwards, small group activities will be used to discuss the lesson among the students. 4 per group max. Lastly, students would independently have an evaluation. Why would I choose these types of grouping? I picked these grouping types to keep students interested in the lesson, while whole grouping is used for instructor to deliver the information in a formal manner. Small groups is used to allow the students to discuss their thoughts and ideas on the task at hand. The reason why I decided to keep these groups limited to 4 because it is too easy for students to sit back and let others do all the work. You gotta make sure that all the students are engaged in doing work, because when students sit back, they might not learn anything. Also, it allows possible misbehaviors to occur. Step number 3, methods, instructional strategies. What teaching methods will I use for this lesson? I will use the method of explaining through lecture by a teacher and class discussion conducted by the teacher in whole group instruction. During the lecture and discussion, I will answer any questions that the students may have. After the lecture, I will divide the class into the small groups, as mentioned earlier, and I will give each group an activity to work on. Then I have the students to work together, not only on the activity, but they also will have discussions. Lastly, at the end, what I mentioned before, they work independent. The independent work will be assessments. Why I choose the different methods? The reason I decided to use teacher-based lecture and discussion because it allowed me to deliver the information to the students and lead a discussion that is producive to the students being able to understand the lesson. The benefit of having students to work in small groups is to keep them interested in the subject matter and allow them to bounce ideas off each other and learn from each other. With every lesson, you must be able to figure out whether the students have learned anything or not. So the best way to do that is through assessment.